Welcome to Inside Grain Farmers of Ontario. This week we go inside government relations. We are here with Rob Gamble, our Chief Economist at Grain Farmers of Ontario, and the results of the 2016 Census of Agriculture just came out. Can you tell us a bit more about that and any general themes?
Sure. Megan, so on May 10th this year, Stats Canada released the 2016 census. Now, census is taken every 5 years, and so the last one was 2011, and they're going to be releasing additional information over the next year and a half, but the first set of information from the census came out in May. So it's really a snapshot of a wide number of industries, and agriculture is one of those sectors. So, is there an overall theme that producers can take away from the census? I think there is. It's a positive census in general for producers, and it builds on some positive messages that have been coming out about agriculture this past year. For instance, Dominic Barton, who is the chair of the Canadian Minister of Finance's Advisory Council on Economic Growth, he said in a report earlier this year that agriculture was one of the key industries that government should be focusing on in the coming years for growth. And other data backs that up. For example, the gross domestic product, GDP for agriculture. If you look at crop production, for example, in the last 5 years, the average growth has been about 5.8% per year, and that's in the top 10% of all industries across Canada. So there's positive messages coming out about agriculture, and the census data shows that there's continued growth in agriculture. The decline in farm numbers is slowing, and also that Ontario in particular is a significant contributor to the Canadian agricultural economy.
Great. And are there any key highlights of the census?
Yeah, I think the main ones, certainly people look for the number of farms as kind of a key indicator of agriculture. So across Canada, about 193,000 farms in total. Average farm size continues to increase slightly, up to 820 acres per farm. That's an increase from 2011, where it was 779 acres. And the key thing about the number of farms is that the decline it's down 5.9%, but that's a slower decline than in previous years. And so when we look at Ontario in particular, there's about 50,000 farms in Ontario. That's a drop as well of 5.9%, but the previous census, the drop was about 9% between those two time periods. And so the growth or the decline is slowing. Average farm size in Ontario is about 250 acres, and interesting enough, about a third of the acres in Ontario is rented. So there's a large portion of farmland that producers rent each year. Gross farm receipts were $15.1 billion, and that represents about 20% of all Canadian farm cash receipts, and so that's significant. Ontario produces 60% of all the corn grown in Canada and about 50% of the soybeans. And so another major contributor. Agriculture employs about 82,000 people. So that's kind of broad strokes on the picture. You can also drill down into the census and find a lot of other very interesting information. For example, the percentage of women farm operators is just under 30%, and that's up from the 2011 census, 1.5%. And farm operators under 35, which is important because that's the next generation coming on, that has also increased. It's up to 9.4%, which is up about 1% from the 2011 census as well. Fewer farm producers worked off farm. 46% had off-farm employment in 2016. That's down from 48% in 2011. So overall, some very interesting information about the agriculture sector in general, and there's more to come.
And for farmer members, in what ways will they find the census results useful?
Well, to be truthful, probably the census results will not affect your day-to-day life very much. But they do highlight some trends in agriculture that are occurring, and so it gives them insight into where agriculture may be going, not only for their own businesses, but in a broader perspective. likely more importantly, governments use the census information when they're doing their planning exercises, and so I think it's really important for agricultural leaders at whatever level they're at to be able to speak, well, first of all, be aware of the trends, and then be able to highlight the positive changes that are taking place in Ontario agriculture.
If you're interested in exploring the census results further, visit the Statistics Canada website. Don't miss next week for another episode of Inside Grain Farmers of Ontario.